Right. So today we're gonna dive deep. Really get into the lyrics of this pretty iconic song. I
Yeah,
think you'd agree with that, right? 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins.
definitely an anthem.
Anthem for sure, and I think it's continued to resonate. With people who maybe weren't even around
Hmm.
in 1979.
Yeah.
So you know it, you love it, but get ready to kind of hear it in a new way
Yeah,
because we're
absolutely.
going to really sort of like pick apart the lyrics and try to like, I don't know, figure out
Yeah.
why this thing is so,
Unpack it.
yeah, unpack the magic. I like that,
Yeah.
unpack the magic of 1979. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, what I think is really amazing about 1979 is that it does such a good job of capturing
mhm.
like a very specific time and place,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, it still feels like timeless. Like
Mm.
there's something about it that even though it's very much a snapshot of
Yep.
like late 20th century
Youth
youth, yeah, that
angst.
exact,
Yeah.
and yet it still speaks to people
It does.
today.
It does. So let's rewind. Let's go back to the beginning of the song.
Yeah.
We get hit right away with Shakedown 1979. Cool kids never have the time.
Right.
So, I mean, that word shakedown
Yeah.
is interesting to me. What's your take on that? Just that word right there.
Well, it kind of sets up like a sense of rebellion right away, like something's being disrupted.
Yeah.
Like it's a challenge to the established order.
Right, right. And that cool kids never have the time. That also suggests to me like this impatience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they want to break free from like the constraints of like everyday life, and that's why they don't have the time.
You don't have time for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not important to them.
Yeah, and the way he sings it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can just feel that energy
Yeah,
right from the start.
yeah. So, but before we go too deep, into like each line,
Yeah.
let's talk about just 1979 as like a year.
Okay.
What was going on? What was the cultural landscape like?
Yeah, so 1979,
Like, what were these cool kids rebelling against?
well, it was kind of like a crossroads, the Vietnam War had ended
Okay.
a few years before that, but things were still
Still shifting.
shifting. Yeah, the social and political landscape was still like
Yeah.
people were trying to figure out, what's next.
Yeah.
Disco was fading out, punk and new wave were kind of on the rise.
Like, culturally, that's a really,
Huge.
yeah.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah. And so there was just this sense of like questioning authority,
Mm-hmm.
exploring new identities, pushing boundaries.
Right, and I feel like that restlessness is so like apparent in the lyrics, right? Like
Totally.
it wasn't just about being a teenager.
Mm.
It was about being a teenager in this very specific moment.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons why it resonated so strongly with like a whole generation of people.
Yeah.
It captured that feeling of being
Yeah.
on the cusp of something new,
Right.
but also like exciting, but also uncertain. Right. And
Yeah.
and even in just like the way the verses move on.
Yeah.
It's all about movement, right?
Yeah.
Like Junebug skipping like a stone, headlights pointed at the dawn,
Yep.
faster than the speed of sound.
Just keeps going and going.
It keeps going. It's always searching.
Yeah.
Always escaping,
And the imagery too, like
In the
Junebug skipping like a stone, like it's such a simple image,
Yeah.
but it really captures
Yeah.
this feeling of carefree abandon, almost like this childlike joy, but also mixed with that like restless energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that resonate with you at all? Have you ever felt that? Like,
Totally.
what images come to mind?
Yeah. Oh, totally. And speaking of vivid imagery, one of the lines that I always get stuck on is to shake these zipper blues.
Ooh,
It's so cryptic. It's so powerful.
it's a good one.
But what are zipper blues?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
Open to interpretation. But I think what it suggests is this feeling of being trapped, like restricted, like
Right.
you're literally bursting out of your skin,
Yeah.
You just want to break free from whatever's holding you back.
And it's interesting because that tension between rebellion and uncertainty,
Yeah.
plays out throughout the whole song.
It does.
Right. So you have lines like double cross the vacant and the bored,
Yeah.
which is just so defiant. But then you also have, we don't know just where our bones will rest,
Mm-hmm.
which is so vulnerable,
Absolutely. It's that classic coming of age paradox.
Yes.
You want freedom and independence,
Yeah.
but you're also facing this unknown future.
Right.
And I think the song captures that.
It does.
That feeling of being in between those two things so well.
Yeah, and then you bring in Justine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Justine never knew the rules.
Right.
And she hangs out with freaks and ghouls.
Yeah. She's such an interesting character.
Yeah, she becomes like an archetype, right?
Yeah, totally.
The outsider, the one who dares to be different.
Yeah. Does she remind you of anyone?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
From your past?
I think we've all got a Justine in our lives somewhere.
Yeah. And I think she's such a powerful figure in the song because she represents that urge to defy expectations, you know, to find your own tribe, even if it's outside of, like, the mainstream.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then that ending, oh, man.
The ending gets me every time.
The street heats the urgency of, now, as you see, there's no one around. It's like a photograph. You know, like just freezing this moment.
Yeah.
Like, what's the feeling that leaves you with?
It's bittersweet.
It is.
You know, there's that sense of urgency of living in the moment because things can change so quickly. But there's also a touch of melancholy there, you know, like a realization that this moment, this perfect moment of youth won't last forever.
Right, right. Well, we've covered so much, you know. It's amazing how this one song can pack in all this meaning. Like, youthful rebellion, yearning for escape.
It's all there.
The bittersweet beauty of like these fleeting moments.
Yep.
It's all there.
Yeah. And that's the magic of 1979, you know?
Yeah.
It taps into something universal about being human.
Yeah.
You know, that yearning for connection, for freedom.
Yeah.
For freedom. It makes you think about your own life, your own journey.
Your own 1979.
That's great.
So, you know, next time you listen to this song, really pay attention to the words, to how those verses build on each other, to the emotions that they evoke. Think about how it makes you feel and why it's continued to resonate with people for decades, you know, and maybe to even like inspire you to revisit some of your own memories.
Yeah.
Your own moments of, you know, youthful rebellion and discovery. You know, let the song kind of be like a soundtrack to your own reflections.
I love that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for diving deep with me.
Absolutely, anytime.
On 1979.
Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.